No, this is what I'm going to tell you, and you can't deny it. You never fucked around with a Ouija board, right?
No. Personally, again, I'm Catholic, and I don't believe that, like, you don't go knocking on the devil's door because possessions.
Now you're talking about some shit that you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't fuck with that shit.
No. I mean, like I said, I'm a swinging door on this subject. Just because.
Yeah, that's right. You're a swinging bullshit door.
It's all bullshit. But the spiritual side says, don't knock on the devil's door, otherwise he's going to get in your soul and cause you to spit vomit at people and spin your head around in a circle.
All I'm telling you is let's you and me get together. Let's Ouija board that fucking shit up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like you and me, I'll Ouija board it up, yeah. I've just never had the opportunity. I know you got one.
I did it, dude.
No. Okay, go ahead and tell your story, because I got the biggest spoiler for Ouija boards ever. Go ahead.
Well, you want to ruin... Okay, I'll tell you the story. You can fucking ruin it. Okay, how about that? So, I get the fucking Ouija board, and we say, okay, we're going to do it now. And it's me and my sisters and my wife, and we light, like, fucking candles, and we're up in this house that we think our house is haunted anyway. Not, like, for real, but, like, funny. You know how you joke around about it? So we fucking light the candles and we get the Ouija board. And my sisters, who are very much like you, don't knock on the devil's door or he's gonna come a calling. Me, I'm like, to me, like, you want to be honest? Like, if that shit was real, like, the coolest thing that could ever happen is, like, we Ouija board, and then it's like, I am Lucifer, I want to eat your soul. Like, if that shit popped up in the fucking room, like, part of me would be like, scary, I think I just fucked with the devil. Part of me would be like, life is kind of boring, and I kind of want to fucking see what the devil does. Like, this is this is exciting.
Yeah, you'd pull a little Nicky and be like, AC/DC rocks. I love hell.
I just would, like, if right now, if you and me talking, if the devil showed up and, like, tapped me on the shoulder, I'd be scared as shit, but part of me would be like, this might be the most exciting thing that's happened all week, so let me see where this goes. So we're getting the Ouija board out, and we're doing it. And right before we do it, oh yeah, my scared sisters are like, let's say the Lord's Prayer. And then we get into...
Oh, you prayed? You got into a prayer circle?
Yeah, it gets fucking weird, dude.
Before you Ouija'd it up?
That's right. So we say, let's say the Lord's Prayer.
That's just weird imagery. Let's just say a prayer before we do this.
Before we play with the devil, let's consult the Jesus. So then we get together to do the prayer. Now, can I ask you a question? Let me give you a little pop quiz. Are you good with a pop quiz?
I guess, yeah.
How much of the Lord's Prayer can you say? Go ahead and try.
But our Father?
Yeah, go ahead and say as much of it as you
our
can.
Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. For those who trespass, I fucked that up.
And that is how far everyone can make it. Right there. But this is the thing, when you're, like, seriously praying before a Ouija board and you're trying to be serious about prayer, you just suddenly go into Mumbles Town. Because it went to...
I'm going to make it through this, regardless if I know it or not. I am going to make it through this prayer.
That's how it went. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
See, my Lord, for thee.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Days we shall be.
And then it just... fucking boondocks, and then it just turned into
In nomine de Padre, Sante, Spiritus Sanctus.
And then we just mumble for like 30 seconds. We all realize we don't know it, and then we say amen together. And that's basically...
I know it. If I sat down and thought about it, I could figure it out. I know it. That shit was drilled into my head as a child.
But about where you got is about where most people can get. And if you're not going to church and you don't have the fucking cheater notes, like a lot of times they give you the cheater notes in church. Well, if you don't have the cheater notes, you're fucked, man. And so you mumble your way through the fucking Lord's Prayer, and then we go to do Ouija. So then we start Ouijaing it, and we're doing the Ouija thing. And we're all...
So what was your first question then? Like... Well, who's going to die first, or like...
Well, I read about it.
Who's going to like, what were you asking the Ouija?
At first, you just want to ask yes or no questions, because you're wanting to warm it up. When I read about it anyway, and I went online to, like, again, how gay is this? Not only did we say the Lord's Prayer before the Ouija board, I went online to read how to properly Ouija. So we were...
Yeah, so you Googled how to Ouija, and you didn't Google the Lord's Prayer.
Fair point, sir. So you're supposed
It's like,
to.
amen. Good enough. So how do we really do this shit? How do we talk to the devil? Google. Red rum.
So you're supposed to start by just spinning it for a while, and then you ask like a yes or no question, and you just spin it until you feel it begin to move. Now, again, this all sounds like total horseshit. But
it's complete horseshit, and I'll tell you why in a second.
But what you notice is as you just spin it in circles, all of a sudden, this thing, whatever your explanation is, it develops a life of its own. And then you're moving and it's doing shit. And then after you get it to yes or no, you do that a few times. Then you ask a more complicated question and you ask it to spell something. And so...
and this is what the instructions in the board told you, right?
No, this is what Google told me.
Google. This is Google, not the instructions.
Yes,
okay.
This is what Google told me. So you start with yes or no's because you want the spirit to warm up. And then once it's warm, then you move to letters. And so we did like 5 or 6 yes or no's. Then we moved to letters. And then the next thing we know, it's actually spelling shit out. But it's moving so fast that we recorded with an audio recorder. So I said like the letters as it was landing on them because there was no way we were going to be able to keep up with them. So it was going super fucking fast. And then I was like, this, the letter, that letter, this letter, that letter, that letter. We played it back, wrote it down, and it fucking answered our questions, man. And then I was trying to ask it questions like that we didn't know in the room. So I was like trying to think, what is something, because we ended up talking to what we thought was the spirit named May. And May was a little girl who had lived in our house in the 1920s. And so I wanted to ask her, thinking...
It's a lot of typing, one-fingered.
It is a lot of one-finger typing. So then I asked May, who in the 1920s was in our house, I asked who was president then, and she spelled it out. And I was like, who in this room would fucking know that? So we wrote it down, and I can't remember what she said, but either way, we checked it later against what was actually the truth, and it was accurate. So then, we fucking just talked for a while longer, and that was that. Point being is that shit, if you do it, you walk away. If you did it, now you can discount me with your fucking evidence, Bill Nye the Science Guy, here in a second. But if you're in the room and you do it, you will say something different than what you're about to say to me now. So I'll turn the floor over to you.
All right, so now I'm ready to spoil your little dream.
Go ahead, sir.
Ouija board was invented by Hasbro in 1942. A game company invented it.
Doesn't mean shit. Could have been the devil's game company. They also invented Monopoly, which might be proof that the fucking devil made that game too.
Okay. I mean, that's all I got to say. I mean, the same people that made Spelunk made the Ouija board. So tell me how much of a key to the devil this is, or spirit world, or whatever.
They mass marketed and manufactured the Ouija board, but before them, was there not some shit like that?
As far as I know, there was not. I may be wrong on that. I'm probably wrong on the manufacturer and date as well. I mean, it may have been Milton Bradley in fucking 1920. I don't know. But it was a game company that made it in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
It's a fairly recent thing made by somebody that made, Mousetrap.
Well... it's a fair point. All I'm saying is what happens when you're doing it, whether it is like a collective thing where if everybody's in the same, because I've been to
it's the same, from what I understand, it's the same idea as the light as a feather, heavy as a board thing.
Like hypnotism.
Well, no, not hypnotism. You ever heard of the light as a feather, light as a board thing? Like somebody lays down and then everybody stands around and puts one finger on them and you can pick them up. It's a micro movement thing. It's like there's 10 people with their hands on the Ouija, so you can't detect exactly who's moving it, and you can't feel it yourself because it's a micro movement.
But you can't
once you hit it one way, somebody else picks it up and then passes it down a chain.
That's a fair point, but I'm telling you right now, because I tried to fuck with my sisters. I wanted to make it say the devil is here, and you can't make it do something.
You can't drag it dramatically.
Yeah.
It's a group think, a group mind.
Yeah.
Like, it's a micro movement. You give a hint, and somebody else picks up on the hint, so they drag it that way, and then you feel it going that way, so you push a little bit. And, once you get the momentum going somewhere, it goes that way. So it's a group effort to create the illusion of spirit.
Honestly, I don't even know. Like, this is what I thought about. And this is what I read about Ouija boards. And this might be the best way to end it. I kind of wanted to one time, like, start doing it solo and see what the fuck happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That will disprove the Ouija board 100%.
If it doesn't work by yourself?
Exactly. Yeah. If you like, a Ouija board is more impressive the more people you have. If there's 20 people out there with one pinky on it, it's like, holy shit. But do it by yourself, and that motherfucker will not move. Here's
the scary thing, though. Here's why you don't ever try it by yourself. Because
if it does move,
you're fucked. There's the devil.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I know, like, part of me goes like, Ouija board is nonsense. Go ahead and whip it out and just play around with it by yourself. Nothing will happen. But then that one fucking, and then the next thing you know, it's like spelling out, your soul is mine. And you're fucking done.
That is a very valid point. I can stand on your side with that 100%. That is a little bit creepier.
I've never done it by myself because I'm just so scared that the way that really ends in the real world probably is I just sit there going, oh, this is bullshit. But the 2% or less chance that it fucking turns into the devil.
No, the truth is, no one on Earth right now can say that they've done a Ouija board by themselves.
Yeah.
It worked. Because the people that did it by themselves didn't work.
They're done. They're gone.
They're not around anymore.
It's fucking scary, man.
There's no witnesses to a Ouija board working by itself.